as we get started in this evening live, I wasn't sure if I was going to come back, but just because of the velocity in the last 24 hours, by the swings that have been made, and just where we sit right now, it's trending in a line where we talked about in this morning's live towards that $1 and approximately 40 cent area, which we'll go over. We'll see how many people end up in here if it's not a huge crowd because I did not let this even push out. I just started this right away, even though it's supposed to have about 20 minutes before it starts. But I wanted to get started right away because it's getting later this evening. Um, but I definitely wanted to go over this with the whole community. Whether anybody's in, if we don't have a huge audience during the live itself, it's still going to be able to be watched after. But I think we'll get a fair amount of people in here. John Page, welcome in. Dayona and Josh Jolly, thanks for being in town tonight. 3+ months with the XP Meteor. Big Dog and Times, welcome in for 6+ months. Jay for Mix for your second month with the Dusted House Crypto News. Set Apart Spirit, welcome in. Blessings to you, my friend Matthew. Good evening, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge and me being abducted by aliens. 2 Ravens, thanks for over 2 years with the XRP 589 Moon badge. Arelli, good evening. JG Kool-Aid, welcome in. William Hayes, thanks for 6+ months in the Army. Creamy Goodness, good evening. Let's see. Sith Lord, welcome in. Marcus Power, good evening. XRP John Hall, welcome back. Good evening to you, everybody. So what I want to go over, we'll go over the liquidations. There was a lot of them across the crypto market. Over $500 million in traders were wiped out, and over 152,000 traders lost their entire holdings via leverage. So we're flushing out leverage, which allowed an imbalance. And when you get a long, so basically we had a long squeeze, which means the price was driven down to liquidate the long traders out of leverage. So now what we get to see is that little imbalance playing out, as there was a significant imbalance between long and short traders. Majority was long traders, which means now the imbalance pointed back to the top side. And when we talked this morning, we very clearly talked about this pattern that we were set up within. And now we had to come up this, well, it's not this particular chart, but we'll go to the chart we showed. But I just wanted to go over a little bit of like an overview of what was going on. We talked about possibly getting back up to this $1.40, 141 area to see how we react since oh no, that's not even the right chart. Let's get the right chart. I want to make sure I get the other chart out because I had it set up. Whoops. Hold on one sec. I got so many charts. I came in hot. Oh yeah, I guess it would be within here. Never mind. It would be within here. Definitely would be within this setup because this is where we have this descending side here. So this is definitely the right chart. My mistake. So we'll look at this. It is a head and shoulders right now, but to get confirmation on this right shoulder and the following rejection, it would make sense to come back to about $1.41. We're pretty close, but because of the imbalance, now if we do break out, we still have this optic here that I'm not ready to just throw away. About that the movement up still. If this were to break, the possibility of that movement up still, but it would have to come to that gap with the pure veracity and velocity of those liquidations in the long squeeze. It at least gives the ability for it to push back up like this. So that's why this morning we talked about that $1.40 area. And we wanted to see if it was going to play down or if we could invalidate this. And in order to invalidate this, we've got to get back up over $1.56. I know it's a long ways away, but if we don't want this to play out, we've got to make that play down. And if we want it to look something instead of like that and try to bounce out of here, we can't have this head and shoulders set up. So we have to invalidate this head and shoulders. First big step would be to come over this $1.41 and start squeezing up towards that CME/FVG gap. So another reason I decided to do this live tonight, and I know there's a few people at work that I dearly missed during the day, and I know it'll be a better chance for them to be here this evening. Hopefully we'll see some of them in here. I don't have the comments on just yet, besides what I could see with the members of Tom's Army. It's reloading now because hold on, I just got to open this back up. YouTube closed it out, but at first I was saying hello to everybody. I think I ended with XRP John Hall. So once it loads back up, I'll have to, it's about to load back up. But anyhow, we'll go over the charts. But first, I want to talk about the liquidations we've had, what that means. We'll do the time, and then we'll try to do this together as a group. As I state time and time again, the core members here, and including the ones who come in for the first time and turn into core members, you're my heart and soul in here. The members of Tom's Army who believe in me, all the mods, everybody who tries to give info like Nick and MQ on a daily basis and giving their time in the Telegram and in here, it means the world to me. And what we do here on the United Front, I mean, I can't even explain how beautiful it is what we're building here and have built here as a togetherness. So let me do the intro. We'll get into this, and there's a lot to talk about. Good evening. 8:31 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Saturday, February 28th, 2026. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. Can I play devil's advocate with everybody? What if it's an extended C wave? An extended C wave correction or ABC correction. Only because of what we set up can I even identify it and try to show you it in this regard. And it would have looked stupid before. What if I understand we did this and we did this. What if we're all friends here. What if it was actually something like that? Instead of 1, 2, 3, or A, B, C in a smaller, minute level, what if it actually is something bigger? What if it is something bigger and it still gets us into that C gap? Or I mean in the CME-FEG area. I know we had an up consolidation, but what if the move, technically, this wasn't a mini wave? What if it was bigger? That's my question. What if it was bigger? So we'll go over all of this. Let's see who's I missed. We were at XRP John Hall loaded up. Let's see. Aurelie, yes. Don't forget to hit that like button, as Aurelie said. Josh before free. CFD Adam, thanks for being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge and me being abducted by aliens. Furby Trades, oh hell yeah, welcome in. That's one of the people I was talking about, Nick. I'm glad to see you in here, Nick. Can actually be at evening, guys. Excellent, Nick. Thank you and 1970 Legend for being very trusted mods in here as well. 1970 Legend and Tom's Army over 1 year. CJ2 Pilot's back. Got a new job with a $10,000 raise. Congratulations, my friend. I'm proud of you. I know you were looking and you were, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful, I love seeing that. Congratulations, my friend. Nick says, yeah, it sucks lately because between my personal trading and work, I can't be around as much. Hopefully the changes. I understand that completely. I really do. Mark Powell, positive geopolitical news could bring the money back on for a push up. Indeed. We have to obviously be very careful. And I don't even know how much sense this would make as a big A to B to C. And it probably would push us, a little bit higher if this was the case. Now, this doesn't even make as much sense because I could also say a couple of other things here. But what if it was from the bottom and we went to a head for A, down to B, and up to C somewhere? We're just talking here, folks. And I would just love to hear what everybody has to say about this. But this is neither here nor there because at least right now we know, as of right now, we know we at least went A to B, if this is the way it's set up, to C. Now could it be an extended D wave and then E up? That's something we speculated before. So I just want to see what plays out. We know there's a head and shoulders right now. So Nick, you're not wrong, actually. And the liquidation it caused in the crypto market, as bad as the propagation of war is, once we get those imbalances, sometimes when you expand in war, it actually ends up becoming a good thing for risk assets in the interim. I also wanted to come on because I see quite a possibility here, especially with XDC, if this is in fact not going to break down. And it's for all the reasons we've talked about before with XDC. We haven't technically finished out this C wave. So, after that imbalance, am I back in XDC? I am back in XDC unless it breaks that support. So that's as transparent as I'm going to be. I talked about after a big drop off, would I try to attempt to fade again? I would try to tempt fate again. Obviously it can't invalidate this low, otherwise it's pointless. Now, is this going to be a losing battle, or am I going to get that C wave finally? I don't know. A to B to C. If we drop further, well, I mean, if we drop farther, technically it would be a confirmation that this wave count is completed, and then it's going to invalidate what I was, the second way that we showed this, and it would just confirm the C. Now, however, remember the A, B, C, D, E for XRP? So that's something that could possibly be going on as well. A to B to C to D, and bam, out to E. So I'm gonna take the extended ABC pattern out, and we're just gonna keep it at a 5 wave and a 3 wave and see how exactly we're doing this. Here, let me move this just a little bit because it's hiding this. So we're gonna have to make this in a different color. Probably, yeah, that's better. So what if that's happening and we still have the E wave up? So, a lot of things that can still happen. The fact we didn't invalidate this structure is a great sign, especially with all these imbalances. 4 hourly's getting up there though, so by the time we get to the $1.40, it could still be an issue. We have to see now. We have a technical reversal. This is almost looks like a hammer candle with how high up it is. We had a bunch of wick below, and if you don't know what a hammer candle is, whoops, I didn't mean to click on that. But it's defined by a big wick pull down and the body comes back up. Now it was red, however, but now this daily candle is really going to define things. We'll see if we can break up out of here and see if somehow, some way we can create a nice little bullish reversal here instead of just a head and shoulders. Still a lot of work to be done. But a lot of times these are the areas where the market can give you a little bit of volatility after a significant drop. And we had a significant drop, and we had a significant liquidation event, which is actually working in our favor, believe it or not. And we'll go over all of that. So much stuff to go over, in fact, today. It's actually pretty insane how much stuff we're going to have to cover as a group, ladies and gentlemen. So what do you guys think? Before we get going, I just want to know what everybody's thinking here. I would love to know. I know there's no right or wrong answers, but I really would love to know what this audience has to say about all of this. I really would. Let's see. Anyhow, so let's just see what happens here. Let's see what happens. What ended up happening with the liquidations is on the long squeeze. So if you go through all of crypto, not just XRP, I think there was only like 1,700 XRP traders liquidated, roughly about $13 to $15 million. But 1,700 is way too many. You don't want 1,700 XRP traders to lose their accounts via leverage. It hurts my heart, honestly. Especially in the time we live in. But overall, if you look at it, all of crypto, there was 152,275 approximate traders liquidated, worth over $500 million. $515 million went back to the exchange. And this is how I believe the exchanges create their reserves, by liquidating retail. So please don't fall into that trap. I know there's a lot of desire when it comes to leverage trading by many. I know it's tempting, believe me. And XD or Algo right now is technically trying to break out of a descending wedge. So could we get some velocity up? We really could. We were waiting for some kind of dump down and confirmation or something to send us in a direction. And right now, I'm seeing a direction here where we might get a nice volatile split back to the top side. And if that's the case, oh, buddy. I mean, it's not guaranteed, but that looks like a hammer candle there on the daily for especially Algo with the way it pulled up. Now, is there a little bit of a top heavy? I mean, it's red, but it's really trying to show us maybe a sneaky play tonight. We'll see what happens here. Like, we can't confirm nor deny anything today yet, but we'll see what happens because let's see where the 4 hours at. Plenty of room there in the 4 hourly as well. If we get a candle spike here, it's going to be very interesting. We can already see that volume is starting to come in here. It's already almost increased. Like, I'm telling you guys, Just, I'm not telling you to dip your life savings or even make a trade. I'm just saying let's watch this a little bit because there is a distinct possibility that something's developing here. Now we have to get over this area, and obviously for not obviously, but for algo, if this is going to happen, we can't come down and we cannot invalidate this candle. So if it comes below 859, it's a problem because we do not want to create a long leg doji out of this and make a reversal. So I mean, you don't have a lot of room here. There's not a lot of room here at all. Maybe down to 855, and then it's going to invalidate this structure if it comes down. So really, there's not a lot of room here for it to do what it needs to do if it wants to go to the top side. If I'm being honest. But there's a distinct opportunity here. If this actually plays out, there's a big opportunity possibly here setting up. There really is. And we could be moments away from this breaking out in real time. And then we'll just have to see. We'll have to see how this develops here. So I would love to hear what everybody has to say. I would really love to hear what everybody has to say this evening. Let me see if I can refresh this because the comments stopped. Maybe there just isn't any comments, but I find it hard to believe no one's commenting, especially with what I'm saying. Okay, definitely. A lot of comments, actually, when I reset it. Mark, I already said hi to Mark Furby. Let's get down. Bad guy, welcome in. Is Tom's hat on? Oh, my hat is not on. I forgot to put it on. But that's neither here nor there. Here, would it make you guys feel better if I put it on? Hold on. Yeah, Ghost. Ghost. No. Get. Because you're not going to stay. I mean, I could do that, but isn't it going to send the wrong message if I put my hat on? Because I still think we need that test at the FEG. This is, I mean, we're in these descending consolidations. It's not just algo. We're seeing this across the board. We really needed that liquidation we got. For this to actually have a chance to play through, we needed that liquidation, in my opinion. So we can see what happens here. We really can see what happens here. Oh, no, I'm not saying that this is the end of the down wave. I'm just saying we could grab topside liquidity here. It's not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee. But now we want to see if this imbalance plays back to the bottom side, which is very possible. Don't get me wrong. It's very possible to play it down. It's just when you have a long squeeze like that, now you got to balance it out with the shorts. So there's going to be a massive gap right now left between the long and short traders. Now, don't get me wrong. Just because it could do it, just because it can do it, doesn't mean it will do it. So be smart. Don't over leverage yourself. Don't overextend yourself in spot. None of that. Just understand what I'm saying. It's like what we talked about earlier. We're going to push towards that $1.4041, and then we'll see what happens. Algo just happens to be one that I could point to that I knew was about to break over that area. XDC is another one that never finished the technical move, and we talked about after we sold out that we would buy back if it could hold that support, which it did. So right now, it's up to XDC to prove to us it's just going to fall back through. And what I mean by that is it came back down, and it did not give way here at all. It actually did it exactly like it should have if it was going to stay within reason. It was still within range, too, of this fallback. And if we look at from the perspective, I mean, it never gave back. I would almost say it's better off looking at it like this now because you've got this support tap that's actually probably closer to how it's supposed to be anyhow. Come from the top, it is. The phone screwed it up. So it came down and tapped it perfectly, which is why I had the B wave there because that's where the support could have held and still been okay. But now the next step would be XDC to come up here towards 343 and try to get above it. However, if any time these 4 hourlies dump back down, it's going to be a big sign that maybe it's just not going to play out in that fashion even now, even after the imbalance. So for anybody here, we've got a lot to talk about. I would love to hear your opinions in the comment. It's been a great day with the audience. The first live was epic, setting records and so on and so forth with generosity, I would imagine. Let's see. And I agree with Creamy Goodness. I don't think we're done yet to the downside, more than likely. I think there's still room to the downside. However, like I always say, there is imbalances in the market. And right now, because we're getting an escrow dump for Ripple, wouldn't it make sense to get this push up right now before the dump out of escrow? And that would bring some of the market with it, in my opinion, just because of what happened before it. XLM right now is trying to follow pretty closely. Not many things are up right now, though. It's just, it is what it is. We got to kind of go with the motion and go with the flow. Mark Powell says XRP is sneaking up over the last hour. Indeed. Indeed it is. Furby Trade says how 242 needs a retest as well, just from a candle perspective. The others were monthly FEG levels. Absolutely, Nick. Absolutely. I guess a lot of people aren't finding this helpful in this live, but that's okay, because guess what? The ones who walk out, they're not the important ones. It's the core members that become extremely important, because we're the ones who can help build this and run this. So we try to extend our good grace to the ones who come in, but a lot of times they don't stick around until later when it's maybe too late. So kind of fly with this in real time and always have your mind open for what can happen. We expected down, but it held that $1.26. That was important, holding that $1.26 to $1.28 area, and it did at about $1.26.8. And now we've had an immediate reversal from early this morning. And after you liquidate $500 million, creates quite the imbalance from one side to the other. So I'm not surprised what we're seeing here. You know, we talked about it this morning a lot, about that $1.40, $1.41 for a reason. So I want to see how this plays out. It's okay to have a little positivity. Even if it doesn't pan out, it's okay to have a little positivity for once. Bad guy 82661. Thanks for reading Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XP Predictor, with Mrs. Stott and Mr. Stott as well. And also sending a $19.99 super chat, says Tom's hat. Love it. If anything, you know, XRP, you can look at the hat for, but XRP starting to move here a little bit. Get over that $1.41 and we're going to start cooking a little bit, probably. Mrs. Stott is 12 minutes behind everyone cooking and listening, but just glance over and saw the news. Congrats. Yes, indeed, everybody. CJ2 Pilot hit a home run with his new job. Nice little pay raise, and we're proud of him. Very, very proud of CJ2 Pilot. Very proud. You posted a few here, all of the monthly, though. I seen your $2. Oh, $1.67 needs a retest. I agree with that. It matches up very nicely to my levels I have over the top. I like that. I have a level up there as well where I even put the circle box in here to start hitting. That's right at $1.67. It extends out almost to $1.80. Because once you get on top of that, then we can try to push that $2.02. Once we get over $2.02, then we start it's going to be interesting. But I don't know if we can get up there yet. I just figured with what played out earlier that we would start to come back up. I still think there's a possibility at an E wave here. I do. I think there's a possibility at an E wave up, even if it's a 5-wave corrective in the A, B, C, D, E. All we have to do is invalidate this head and shoulders, which if we get rejected at $1.41, obviously we can't invalidate it if that happens. But right now it's contracting. It contracted perfectly. It didn't give it up. We're back within that liquidity zone, which is promising. We're painfully below that $1.57, but that's something that can be rectified soon. Once we get above that $1.57, it'll open up that $1.65. Well, honestly, got to get above that area because it's the descending triangle. But there's possibility here, which it's nice to have possibility, right? It's nice to have the hat on. Let's see. H-bar up 0.99%. V-chain all of a sudden up 1.1. Algo's up 1% now since we talked about that. This is the main reason I wanted to come on, because there was an imbalance here. So there was the possibility of some sneaky movement here. Sneaky movement at that. AJ, welcome in. Silver seems to be stuck. Thoughts? I wouldn't say it's stuck. Um, I wouldn't say necessarily it's stuck. I would just say that it's trying to fight between the head and shoulders pattern, or I mean the possible head and shoulders pattern, but it also had a significant push up. And the reason why it looks stuck is because we're trying to figure out if we're going to get past this resistance box, which we ended the week at, and see if in fact we're going to build some kind of head and shoulders, or if we can get past it. If we get past 99, we're going to go to new highs more than likely. 94 is our first step. You get over this 93.71 and then we're cooking. We already invalidated what could have been a pennant with a shoulder head shoulder inverse pattern. So now we get to see. I don't necessarily think it's stuck. I think we just had to have a big contraction there because we had such a volatile push up. So, I don't sugarcoat it when I come on. I don't sugarcoat it, to be honest. I just come on and tell you. Quad eights, follow the moon, welcome in. I'm in with my life savings furlough. Be careful, guys. Be careful. Just because it looks okay right now doesn't mean, isn't it a stark difference from what we seen on Friday because of that liquidation event? But let's just make sure that this isn't a little fugazi here, the fugazi. But this could drive in some buying pressure from Asia if this continues. Asian markets in about 2 hours could light us up if this continues. If the USA drives into Asia beautifully, and remember, because of what happened, you got a lot of negativity across the markets. A lot of people are just afraid as hell. Those are the times to kind of drive. Maybe this is going to be one of these short squeezes of the top side now after we had a long squeeze. You always shake out the imbalance. Now, it doesn't mean it can continue 100% until we break past certain levels, but right now we're up against it at the first level, which is phenomenal. Because it's coming up to that first area we started with, the area we talked about very distinctly this morning. If you look at the futures market, how it closed, it's going to be some interesting noise here if this continues. I'll tell you that much. I will tell you that much. And we are almost over this resistance area. And if we can get over there and invalidate this right shoulder, we're going up to that CME gap more than likely. An invalidation of the right shoulder would have to break above first area, that $1.50, and ultimately, try to push past that $1.56 for confirmation to get back above that descending triangle. But there is a lot of room to the top side here if this works out. The markets are closed right now. It's stuck until Sunday. Don't be so sure. It might fall back on Sunday, but that doesn't mean there's not an opportunity leading into it. Most of the time, the most volatile up is on Saturday into mid-Sunday until the futures come close. It doesn't mean it has to last all the way through Saturday into Sunday, but the velocity happens at some point. Now, can it give it all back like we just said in the 4-hourly? It's absolutely possible. It's absolutely possible. Dead cat bounce fueled by greed could possibly be. Could possibly be. No doubt about that. It could possibly be fueled by, or it could be fueled by greed. But there's some areas that are just, it has to have these little pop outs. So, like I said, we're up against that resistance right now. If we fail to break $1.41, it'll stop this in its tracks. For Bitcoin, we want to see Bitcoin start pushing past, and we're on the top side. We talked about this when it started. If we could frame this up, we could start pushing back towards the top side liquidity zone. We broke out of the descending consolidation as of right now. And I could actually build this into a descending wedge. I just didn't before, but that's really what it is. It was a descending wedge here. And it's played it perfectly. So now the optics here is with the way it's set up is it's got to have some kind of upward velocity. It seems like that's what it wants to do. We'll see if it just comes up to the 200 maybe and gets a rejection, but that's still up to 71K. Now, if this gets invalidated and breaks down, it's going to invalidate this kind of a setup. And a descending wedge is a bullish consolidation on a drop. So it's the recipe for a bullish reversal. Oh, come on. I'm not a wizard. Because look, see the 4-hourly, that's what I was saying. Just because it went up doesn't mean it's going to stay up. But we're testing this right now. But bad guy says up 4% since Tom put his hat on. Just saying. Oh man, you guys are gonna get me in trouble. Make it seem like I am manipulating the market. Uh, but now we're trying to test this dollar. This is a big moment. This is a really big moment. And thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Oh, I love it. Yes, Mrs. Stott, I did put my hat on and then it immediately started going up once I sat back down, ironically. Um, I can see the juice. 8888 follow to the moon or follow the moon says, I can see the Jews rubbing their hands waiting for the rug on the situation. Yes, my precious. Um, but I suppose that would be the Kaza infiltrating the Jews, right? The Khazarians. Um, but right now it's a big test. Like this could be the ultimate fake out, but look at we're definitely at that moment right now where some interesting stuff is happening for sure. We're on the top side of this. We'll see if this pans out. If it does, the technical target out of this. We like talking about technicals. We like technicals around here. Let's see. Yeah, see, that perfectly brings us back in the liquidity box, though. We don't even get over it. It could technically have a technical move up to about right to that 200-day conveniently enough. It's pretty interesting, actually, the way that this is set up. What do you, the odds of this breaking out? I mean, you know, I wouldn't have felt as good about this if we wouldn't have had all those. You guys know I'm an analytical freak. Okay, I'm analytical out the yin yang. And when I seen that imbalance and how many traders got liquidated, the final number, I'm like, whoa, baby, get your hats out. Or as Tommy Pickles would say back on Rugrats, get your diapers out. It's going to get pretty interesting around here. And they could just be going to liquidate too. Great way to get retail to run back in. Absolutely. But do you think retail would have run in yet, or do you think they're going to wait to see if it goes up one more layer? I'm always interested to hear what the audience says. Like, where do you think the big point for retail to run back in would actually be? Do you think it would be now? Or do you think it would be after a little bit more movement? Or do you think they're already trapped in? That's the other side of this. Do I have to turn my head sideways to, what am I, a wigger? I guess I am. Today I am. Let's see. 1970 Legend, thanks for being a very trusted mod. I greatly appreciate it. And our fellow Buckeye. Our fellow Buckeye. $1.45. Then it'll drop. I mean, $1.45 is an interesting level. That's the mid-tier part, but we have to hold this range though. It's still very dangerous here. Don't think it's just a cut and dry case here. But we are definitely trying to build something. A lot of it's gonna depend on Bitcoin though. Can Bitcoin hold this descending wedge breakout? The first time it came over, it did not. It was just a quick move. The fact it came back down to support and now it's pushing up, this is giving me vibes of there's something building here possibly. Like there's something possibly here. I like the vibes it's giving right now. I don't like the fact the volume on a few things are shady, but I do like the fact for XRP and some others that instead of giving it back initially on this candle, they tried to push up. However, it's pushing into these very heavy resistance. Now it's back tested, ironically, the symmetrical triangle it's come up to. So that's another reason why this $1.41 area is very important. We got to get above that symmetrical triangle and start pushing to the top side of that 200-day. And there's a lot of charts that we can show, but only one really matters. Morelli says, Tom, my in-laws finally thank God. Got on a plane today from Mexico. They should be home in a few hours. Excellent. That is tremendous news. That is tremendous news. I'm so glad to hear that, Aurelia. I remember it was a stressful moment. And I know we don't know your relatives, but I was feeling a little bit of stress for your in-laws because that's a scary situation with what was going on. You know, you just want to get back to your homeland, especially when things are going, you know, in a way that you don't quite understand. Why do I have my head sideways? XLM right now is up 1.71%, moving very nicely. XLM is on the top side of this. Well, we called this like resistance support line because of the way it was set up. Now, it's not 100% accurate, but this was where we had the resistance, support, support, support. And if we wanted to not invalidate this little shoulder, head, shoulder push up, this was the back test for further expansion. So, like I said, it's a very tricky proposition, but in the 4-hourlies now, we've given ourselves a hell of a lot of room, everybody. We've given ourselves a lot of room. I want to see how XDC looks versus it. Oh my goodness, it's behind. I'm telling you, if XDC expands out, it's gonna be explosive. Got to get above 343. Ultimately, try to cook towards this 367. But I want to see. I love these moments. I love these moments. Sleep with that hat. XRP billionaire. Thanks for 6+ months with the X Free Predictor. Said sleep with that hat on. Beautiful. Chris B, welcome back in, my brother. Says, hey, what's up, Tom? You the man, kind of sad. I didn't see a squirrel this morning. I thought I totally should start a sports betting channel also. I know, but I don't like to gamble in more than one ways. I haven't well, sometimes I do, but it's been a little bit. But I definitely know we could do something. Man, algo's almost up 2% now. This market's starting to drive up here, folks. Ethereum's up 3% up. Okay, guys, it's not because I put my hat on, okay? I promise. I didn't put my hat on and flip the switch. Yeah, now it's up again. No, your stream's not behind. Oh, man, because it's bouncing around so much. It was just down at $1.40. Now it bounced up to $1.4145. The mad crypto hat. I love it. It's good. This doesn't help my cause, does it? That it's not the hat. When I went and put the hat on, what was XRP, $1.39? But we'll see. Why is the USDTP? See the, oh, whoa. Perpetual futures went down a bit real quick, and now it just surged back up. Bitcoin up over 68. Does everybody see why I had to come on? I certainly wasn't going to come on when I felt the bullish moment. With all the bearishness we've had to talk about, I certainly wasn't going to miss out on, even if it's only a few percent, to come talk about it in a bullish fashion. But just always pay attention to those numbers. When there's a significant liquidation event, but now remember this too. Now we have an imbalance again, which is good, because maybe this could be the breakaway gap on the lower side now, which we won't know because it just happened. But right now we've got a $2,200 gap right now from the Bitcoin CME futures close on Friday. And for XRP, all of a sudden we've opened up a 7-cent gap after having a 9-cent gap to the downside. Now it's a 7-cent gap to the upside, which is phenomenal. This is beautiful. Beautiful. Hold on. I want to see one thing with algo because it was breaking out. Oh, baby, look at this. It's starting to try to break out of this descending triangle now. Ooh. What's the target here, actually? I'm actually pretty curious about this because it's not the only chart like this. We're seeing symmetry. We're seeing symmetry, and I like symmetry. I like to see symmetry. I mean, that's a pretty healthy move if that plays out. And we got room here. 4-hourly still got room. Volume increase in the 4-hourly, which it's not crazy volume. Man, could you imagine if the whole market ran 10% real quick? But we had an increase in volume. Look at this. We're getting a spike. 3.73 on this candle. Now the new candle, we've already got 5.52, and there's still almost 2 hours left. This is it. This is the moment. If this continues, this is a big moment for the entire market. This is a huge moment. 8888 is up 80%. 80%. Maybe you'll be the newest member to Tom's Army. Not that I'm trying to send subliminal messages. Spend $9.99 and join the community army. Pay the toll. No, I'm just kidding. I'm proud of you, my friend. Mrs. Dot says, scary shiitake going on down south. Indeed. Indeed. I'm so glad, Aurelia, that your in-laws are home, or at least up in the air now and on their way home. I really am. It's such a blessing. Yeah, if you want to, my friend. Here, you can send me a picture. I'm on Julie's account right here. So it's the Juju fish. But you can send me it there at strutrugali@gmail.com. Oh, that would be a huge honor if you joined the classes. That honestly, I was just joking, my friend. You don't have to spend your money on me. I was just making a joke. But if you want to, those classes will definitely be the best money you ever spent. In case Tom's tax man is listening, I'm down. Always down. Yeah. Well, I just paid so much in taxes on Friday that I don't even want to talk about it. Don't even want to talk about it. But if you're paying taxes, it means you're making money, which it's still theft. But look at XDC now up 1.5%. Let's go, baby. Let's go. We're hawking off. Show them the muscle, Tom. It's all because of the guns. You put the hat and the guns together, and we're going to hawk up. But anyhow, it's just fun sometimes to see some positivity. I don't want anybody to get overblown here and think that this is just going up 10,000%. But come on, most people were not paying attention to the possibility of the move up. They were just looking for the move down after that big drop yesterday. And early AM. Remember, I was up all night. I watched this like a hawk. I even put 2 shorts out at like, what was it? The classes are very good. I haven't made it into the class, but watch after. Thank you. Oh, no, you don't even have to be there live. That's why I encourage people to comment during the live themselves. So anybody who has to watch it after or gets, I love watching it after too, can actually have a full-on conversation. And that's why I also turn it on. So you don't see it in my lives, but I turn the chat bar on so that everybody can see it after, because YouTube separates comments from lives to when it uploads after the live. So now in the classes, you can see everybody's comment. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. And it's not about charting in the beginning. So if you're good at charting, trust me, there's so much more. We're not going to get into a chart for months. We learned about the DNA of money, past cultures to now to the future. We go through the 3 steps of different phases of how we did a currency in our system. We talk about what's coming with the digital system. Right now, we're talking about, for anybody who's interested, we've done 8 classes. The 9th one's on Monday. I'm super excited about it. There's about 14 hours of learning already. Right now, we're talking about the purpose of investing, the wealth generation, wealth preservation versus generation. And I try to do it with these, with my pictures so you can see exactly what we're talking about. Obviously, I can't fit it all in an image. And we started with the DNA of money and the great transitioning. And I encourage you guys to start from class 1 if you join. I encourage you. So there's a definite strength there for anybody. And that is going to be an ever-growing class. Now, hopefully this won't be a short-lived event, but let's see how this plays out. So far, so good. Ethereum, holy shit. Oh, yeah, there's going to be volatility up the yin-yang. We're going to get some volatility out the yin-yang. 3.6%. Man, there's still so much room there if it wants to. Let's just watch these 4-hour candles and see if one of them has a strong wick pullback or if this is something bigger developing. Let's see. Because Ethereum all of a sudden here, it was up about 4%. We've jumped up about $71. We want to see this motion, so to say. Every time we move up, a little bit of a pullback to retest, start pushing up even farther. XRP is now going to retest this area, which is doing phenomenally so far. Up 3% since the flip. So, and then I think I shared one more of my animated things. And you guys tell me what you think about this. So, people have a hard time, they're struggling trying to figure out formation. So I'm trying to create a clever way of doing this through AI. And they're very short. So this is the first one. I love these little guys. Wait for a click. I want to know your opinion too about these, if you like them. We don't recommend trading while we are forming. Wait for a clear breakout before entering a trade. We are a breakout. We break through support or resistance and move with strong momentum. I am lower time frame. You look at me for entries when there is a breakout. And then the one today, I did it very simple.
The hammer formation indicates strong buying pressure emerging. But watch this resistance trend line. It's a key level to break.
What do you think about that for these little AI creations? I kind of like them. Simple, swift, to the point, gives you a smile. So the reason I show that is because now we need to confirm the breakout. We're pushing through. Now we want to see a confirmation. I love those little candle dudes myself. I can only do 1 or 2 a day because AI will only let me create. So I have to do about 1 a day. I'm going to do. They're going to be my new thing. So I did the hammer candle. So I'm going to focus on one kind of candle each day now. But I like the, you look at me for lower time frames, guys. I love that guy. That's cool. I have to join the class. Absolutely, DJRC. I think it's in everybody's benefit. The candles need hats. Oh, I wonder if I could add the hats. You can't ask AI to do too much because I get a little confused. It took me a while to get it to develop those the way I wanted. So, but I love those little guys. Flex on them with the hat, of course. Yeah, Mark. Amen to that. Oh, speaking of that, let's continue to ask for guidance for Bearded Viking, for Mighty Marcus, for Bearded Viking, as Mighty Marcus continues to fight the good fight. We want Bearded Viking to have the solace and strength in his mind and his wife to push through, because it's never an easy task to watch your child, especially when you're fighting a big fight. And he's been for a little while now, a long while. And Mighty Marcus gains positivity by us talking about him. We heard it firsthand from Bearded Viking that it's a positive thing for him. So I want to continue to give him our wishes. We pray to Yahweh, Yeshua, Emmanuel, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. We pray for God's grace and guidance for the best outcome possible with the least amount of resistance pain-wise, and for mental clarity, because it's not easy when it's your child, believe me. Some of you know as well. JG, welcome to Tom's Army. Are you serious? Wow, thank you so much for joining Tom's Army and betting on me. That's amazing. Thank you so much for that. And you're in the 3rd month now, 3+ months with the XRP Meteor, so welcome back. Welcome back. Yes, I would love to see you in there, DJ, in the classes. True, welcome in, my man. True was one of the most influential parts in the last bear market in 23, and I'll always say that when I see you, True. You were one of the only ones on board with me, besides like Steve and a few others, that were really trying to get our community to let go of the bearishness that we had been in for so long and to finally buy that 34-cent area. Or your particular token you liked at that time. And you were very aware too. True's another one who's phenomenal with the charts. He used to help us out so much. Still does, but I'm saying back in the day, even a couple years ago, about 3 years ago now, he was a big helper to what we do here. And he helped guide people in the right direction, never asked for anything, never wanted any credit. He kind of does like what Nick and MQ do out of the goodness of their heart. They're trying to push the power of knowledge to everybody. Because when we push the power of knowledge, it might not seem like we're gaining anything, but I gained so much knowledge just from the classes. Look at it's allowed me to have a better delivery here during the actual lives. I think we put out more information, but when we have unity, we show strength, and True is a big part of that. And I'll always show my gratitude to True every time you see him in here, because he really did help push that message. It was amazing. What do we got going on here? Ethereum. Ooh, it bounced back up to about 4%, really. Yeah, see, we need to see if this drives up here. Volume's a little bit stronger in this 4-hour candle. I like what I'm seeing right now. At least in the short term, I like a push up to 2,172. I mean, we're in a bearish pennant still. That doesn't have to change, or we're in a bearish consolidation. I projected it up to that level. I understand that technically it's got this. We need to break out. So I guess I shouldn't overzealously sell it right now. So 2,111. And then if it breaks out over the top, 2,172. But in this bearish pennant, we technically need to get over, and I'm getting rid of this now. We technically need to get over that second layer. But we should come up to a rejection point probably here now at about 2,111, unless we just fall back through. This would be your make it or break it line, would be right back around 1976, but we went right back through it. We've done absolutely everything we need to do. We've got a third tap here of an uptrend. It's still a bear flag. This is still a bearish pennant until otherwise noted. It's in a symmetrical triangle, but you've got 3 hits of support. Now, could this be a third hit of resistance here This was resistance, but it was support up here. Now we need to see if it acts as a resistance. That's why I think we could get a quick shot up there if this continues to play out like this. I mean, you've got to be so on the ball with these charts. And that's why the other reason I want people in the class is because you need to learn how to build yourself from a ground level before you could ever even trade on the charts. And that's what I'm trying to do. Not just trying, we're doing it. It's just going to take a while. Bad guy loves the candle, dudes. Thank you so much for that. Matthew says the classes are. Oh, okay. I already said that, but you said the classes are very good. I haven't made it into the class, but watch after. You're welcome, my friend. And thanks for being in your first month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens, and giving me a shot. Same with Josh. Thanks for your first month as well, my friend. Israel says, that's amazing, Tom. I love it. Thank you so much, my friend. Somebody asked about the volume for XRP. Again, this isn't going to be a volume push-up. This would be more of a volumeless push-up, as we keep saying. But all you can look at is relevance for the moment. First 4-hour candle after, remember, it was a 3 candlestick reversal. It ended up invalidating what could have been a bad candle here. Made it a 1, 2, 3 candlestick reversal now. If this confirms, we're going up to the 200-day more than likely. And then maybe beyond. But you're looking for an increase in volume, not necessarily about the amount of volume because it's going to be more volumeless, but you want to continue to see an increase in the 4-hour candle. So in the first one, we had 844,932. This one, we still have an hour and 42 minutes and we're already over 1 million on this chart. So XRP is gaining steam in the 4-hourlies right now. So in the next month, or in the next few months, we'll see XRP sub, unless we invalidate the thesis. You can always invalidate the thesis, but I don't suspect unless it proves to me, I'm not sure it can invalidate it. But we'll see how we react when if we come back up to $1.56, see if we can get above this next bearish resistance box. And we have to get through here before we can even get up, into that next layer. We've got to get outside of where we're at right now, though. The most important thing is we've got to get outside of some of these symmetrical triangles that we're stuck inside. And we were projecting, but now we see it more like this. Obviously, that's just coming from the swing low and now hitting another support. And you have to come across like this, but it's on other charts. So we kind of built that in there for a reason on this chart. We have the lower and upper bearish and bullish possible resistance areas. We've got to get through those short-term boxes, which right now it could have been so much worse here after the flip of the clock. I'm just saying, it could have been way worse. Way worse. This is actually doing what I want it to do right now. Like it even slowed down after it pushed up, so we didn't have to come through so volatilely. So it's doing exactly what I would want it to see. Seeing some of the other ones, like Algo up 2 1/3, IOTA up 2 1/3%. Bitcoin's up 1.18. And I'm seeing everything I want to see right now and just right now. What do you think about the XRP credit card on Uphold? If it wasn't on Uphold, I'd love it. But I don't trust Uphold. They did something to Julie's account that I'll never forgive them for. And they still have commandeered $1,400 worth of her XRP because 1,000 of them were still stuck on there for 3 years. And now that account, or 2 years, it's not even there anymore. They completely destroyed the account. There's no way to sign in. It's not even there anymore. She had back in the day around 10,000 XRP, not counting mine. And that was back in the 21 bull market. So we did pretty well in the 21 season. Or what was it? By the end of the 21, we got back in and later on too. But when we tried to move them, after 9,000 were moved out, they froze her account and said, unfortunately, we can't offer you any more service, yada, yada. She did 2 years of tax return. She had everything on file, did everything by the book. She reported it just like she was supposed to, never had an issue. She's not a person who causes problems. She barely transfers money anywhere. But once we started transferring it out and selling out and then taking capital or trying to move it out of there, they froze her account. So, I've always told people to be cautious, but I'm never going to hate you for trading on there. It's just not my forte. So I don't have a lot of opinion about the XRP card on Uphold. But it's definitely a good idea. It's definitely a good idea. But yeah, don't feel too bad for me. There was somebody in the audience who still, and I don't know if they're going to want to speak on it, but they've been around for about the whole 5 years I've been here. And they were the ones who gave me the warning to get my stuff off of there. And I'm glad I listened. Somebody has 6 figures on there that is frozen to this day. It's like 60 to 100,000. I don't know how much of it they got back, but it was a massive amount of XRP. And they're still, to this day, they can't get it back. I just have a question. How nobody's 100%, not 100%. Because we can invalidate these symmetrical triangles. It all comes down first to that $1.56 level and trying to invalidate that descending triangle. If we could invalidate that, that is the key. That is the key. We've got to get over that $1.56. And then if we can get over that, the first layer of invalidation is getting over the CME FEG from that $1.68 to a $1.77 zone and ultimately retaking 202 to start pushing back to the bullish side. If we get over, like Nick has shown, that 242, that's the ultimate confirmation and getting out of all those bearish possible FEG areas and gap areas and things like that. There's no 100% guarantee it's going to continue to go all the way down. Could $1.11 have been the nail in the coffin to the floor? It could have been. But until we invalidate some of these upper numbers, which we have an imbalance right now, we don't know if we can go farther down because we simply haven't come up high enough to reject these higher levels. True says, I still purchase from Uphold, but I hold nothing there. That's beautifully fine. That's perfectly fine. Or is it just, it's not speculation, it's a technical target right now. Steven, you've asking some excellent questions. And I encourage everybody to ask the hard questions like Steven is. He's not being rude about it. He wants to know the truth. And I admire that because I like to give the truth. So, Steven, right now it is a technical target. We're not finessing it. The technical target out of this descending triangle right now, unless we can overtake $1.56 and ultimately retake the top side of this pattern, which right now is 202, that's how you invalidate this descending triangle. Then instead of breaking down to 83 or 86 cents, then all of a sudden you open up the door to a push out in a pretty strategic way. But you can't go all the way to the top when you're looking at this because technically the descending triangle, the widest part of the base, in my opinion, is right here. Yes, you can go farther back and do it like this to here, but that's going to give you an imbalance. You got to find it where the gap is closing in this kind of a case. And you can look back and look at it later and try to make it wider, but look how this would bring, whoops. If this invalidates, instead of going down to the lower levels, now all of a sudden, instead of $1.56 going all the way to 86, now you're talking about remerging back up to almost all-time highs. That's how quickly this can change. However, we're so far down. We're so far down. Hey, Tom, I know it's a problem with YouTube, but it won't let me click the link for the Telegram. Oh, son of a biatch. Okay, so it's not working for some of you. Some of you it is, but some of you it's not. Interesting. Okay. So I got something I'm going to do I'm going to do something and we'll see what happens. For 2 minutes, anybody in here for 2 minutes, I'm going to put my link on there for 2 minutes because of the generosity from this audience. I'm going to open the Telegram up for everybody for 2 minutes, whether you're in Tom's Army or not. So take advantage of this. 2 minutes is what you get for the thank you to all of you who are paying it forward. 2 minutes, and then I'm deleting it. Click that link. Tell me if that link works for you, and then I'm deleting it. Giving you 2 minutes. You got until 9:27. Because I believe there's strength in numbers, and I like to have, and we have a great group in here right now that I trust. And that goes for Steven and True and everybody who wants to click in there. Everybody. Vado Damas, thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Please let me know if that works for you. That's an all-time link, so it should never go bad. So when you click on it, it's going to do this. It's going to pull you right up to my Telegram, and it's going to put you right into my community. Nope, it's still there. It's right here. See it? It's right above you. Quad 8888, follow the moon, right above you. The comment above you, my brother. You didn't miss anything. So this is my open invitation, and then we'll deal with the consequences if a lot of spammers come in, because it was never just supposed to be for members of Tom's Army in the beginning, but there were so many that spam me. But when I see a good group, I might do this from time to time. Yep, James, you're right about that. It's getting back up to the past levels, but it's not technically bullish yet. 100% on them nose. One more minute here. I just wanted to offer. So let me know, guys, if that's working for you. Hold on. I can go look at the Telegram and see if anybody joined. Yep, it's working. Make sure, though, when you come in, that you accept the rules. You have to accept this to start commenting, okay? So it is working. So welcome in, everybody. We needed a new breed of people in there as well. So I just don't want too many people in there, but I definitely wanted to extend my thanks to everybody. So thank you, Tom. I'm in the Telegram. Excellent, JG. Excellent. So I'm going to close this in just a sec. There was an awful lot of people that were joining, and thank you guys so much for that. I really appreciate that. Love to see some of your new faces in there. And then we'll get back on track. Sometimes it's good to have a blessing with new people. And then if you guys want to pay it forward, you can always join Tom's Army. Everybody's in. Okay, that's what I was waiting for. Thank you all so much. I'm going to close the doors. And until next time, if you're not in Tom's Army, I'll do this from time to time, especially with the support I'm getting in this community. There we go. Welcome in, everybody. I'm glad we could open it up for 2 minutes. It doesn't seem like a lot of time, but if you're paying attention, it's a lot of time. That's the first time I've ever done it like that. I love it. So welcome into my new friends. It's an honor and a privilege. Make sure when you're in here, I'd encourage you to go check out two in particular. I have a pager section, the Technical Lounge with Nick. Make sure you're following that section. It all pops up for all of you. We put in a lot of work into this. Go look at some of the strategies. I've got the Future Millionaire University where I post about the classes, content links so you can always see when things are happening. In the community, make sure that you accept what Rose is telling you. That's to try to defeat the spammers. You know, so on and so forth. Oh, True's in here as well. Excellent. Excellent. Welcome back, brother. Oh, this is a confidence boost for me. But we have a great community in here. So let's get back on track, though. But when you come in here, make sure you follow... The two that I'll tell you to follow right now is make sure you see the Technical Lounge with Nick. And MQ's been on vacation in the Panama, or at least in the Panama. But he does the calculated and smart leverage. He'll be back soon. But he dedicates his heart and soul into here. We all do. So yeah, just it's an honor to have all of you in there. It's an honor. Nobody, and remember everybody, read through the rules. I will not DM you. Nobody will DM you if somebody's trying to imitate me. We have spammers that always try to attack our group. It's just what the lazy people do, and they try to attack innocent people, which is why we started to do it with members of Tom's Army. But, you know, just be very vigilant. Don't trust anybody that's asking for your crypto, because none of us ever will. I will never try to take your crypto. It defeats the purpose of what I do. So if somebody tries to claim to be me, please be vigilant. Because there's a lot of people that try to steal from people. Not the beautiful souls that are part of our community, but the ones who try to infiltrate our community. If that makes sense. I wanted you I wanted you to type welcome back after I received the notification of your message. Spooky. It's very, let me see how big of a delay. It's very, let me see how big of a delay. It's very, let me see. Hello? Hello? Yeah, it's about 3 or 4 seconds. YouTube has about a 3 to 4 second delay for sure. That's about what it is. Anywhere between about 3 seconds, maybe up to 5 for some. That's out of my control, but yeah, definitely I can see that. Garbanzo, thank you for expressing that to everybody, seriously. And thanks for being in Tom's Army for 6+ months with the XRP Predictor. Says, remember, no one will DM you with capital letters. Absolutely. Here we go is right. XLM is about to push up another leg. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, yeah, look at this. Oh, look at this. Look at this upcoming development here. Looks like there's quite a few that could push this next leg if this pans out. What an awesome live this has been. An hour and 5 minutes already. Oh my God. Maple Man says, Tom, that is fantastic what you did for the Telegram community. You're the GOAT. Oh, thank you so much for that. My mom's here too. So I'm going to have to end this. I didn't know it was already over an hour. My mom's here. She's spending the night, so I just want to hang out a little bit more before everybody goes to bed. But let's see what happens here. We're starting to rise up here. Pretty excited about this. We can continue to talk a little bit here in the Telegram too. But yeah, please have a blessed night, everybody. I will be back in the morning. If something crazy happens tonight and we get up to that next resistance level or we fall through, I'll do a 60-second short to try to keep everybody on track. Other than that, thank you all for the incredible support. Welcome to the new members inside of the Telegram. And please be professional, show integrity. We're very positive in there. We're not fighting with each other. The only rule in there is you don't get a second chance. So if you are spamming somebody, if you're trying to steal from somebody, if you're being very rude, if you're trying to break the flow, I have no moral compass. I'll just get rid of you. It's taken me 4 years to build that the way I wanted. In fact, I didn't let people in for 2 years, or I had to redo it after we had a bunch of nonsensical stuff back in 22. So, bear market confirmed. Tom's mom's here. I mean, maybe.